Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for braving the conditions, which we don't have the weather like we did, but the parking is still a problem and some of the roads are. So we appreciate you all coming through all that and bearing with us as we rescheduled not once, but twice, but 3 times, but we're all here. So that's the important part. I'm Jennifer Maddox. I'm the Executive Director of the Carnegie Center, and I can't tell you how excited we are to be doing the Lexington Youth Poet Laureate program. It was a dream for us for many years, and then in 2023, shortly after the pandemic, we were finally able to make this a reality. And so, and that's in part thanks to Urban Word, which is our national sponsor. In 2023, we were able to welcome Katerina Adeje, who was our first. And Katerina, if you could just raise your hand for the folks who maybe don't know you. Amazing poet. Then in 2024, we had Zoya Abbas. Zoya, are you here? So Zoya's not here. And then in 2025, we had Eva Alcaraz Monge, and Eva's definitely here. And you'll get to hear a little bit more about Eva in just a little bit. But over time, the Lexington Youth Poet Laureate program that we have, I mean, it has really risen in recognition in the city. It went from being a dream of ours to something that was realized to something now is in more demand than ever, because there are so many, requests to have the Lexington Youth Poet Laureate come and speak at programs citywide, which is pretty amazing. And, I think that speaks a lot to how the city sees the importance of the literary arts in Kentucky and in Lexington. And we're used to all the good literary goodness here, but in other places they don't have that. And so having a Lexington Youth Poet Laureate is a sign that we have some really amazing talent at all levels and ages, including our young writers. Tonight, we're excited to have you join us as we get to meet the 2026 candidates for the Lexington Youth Poet Laureate. I'm going to let Brandon announce our judges and all the candidates later, but it's just an exciting opportunity to have a lot of literary talent in this room tonight. In addition to Urban Word, who I mentioned as a sponsor, we also have more locally the Kentucky Arts Council, Lex Arts, the local chapter of the National Society of Arts and Letters, and the Lexington Mayor's Office. And from the Lexington Mayor's Office, we have the city's Director of Arts and Culture, and that's Celeste Lewis. She's here today, so I'm going to let her come up and give us just a few words.
Well, I'm here tonight to represent the mayor, and she's very enthusiastic about this program. And she asked me to share with all of you how thrilled she was and is with this program, how special it is that we have this award in distinction. As Jennifer mentioned, not every city has this, and we're very proud that Lexington has this. And our mayor has a great respect for the literary arts and really for all the arts. I mean, as her new Director of Arts and Culture, I realize she loves all the arts, but this is a pretty out there secret that, well-known secret that she has a special place in her heart for the literary arts. She loves writing and she loves reading. So she's very excited about this. And so also I wanted to share with you, I just jotted down some reasons why I and all of us need to love this program. I love that it's a confidence builder. I love that it's an interface with the public that not all young writers get to have. I love that this gives voice to a young writer. I love that this young writer is an example to their peers and to us as adults. I love that this brings poetry to more people. I love that in a time when we need to use constructive expression and communication and access beauty and humanity, the young poets are here to lead us. Thank you for letting me be here with you tonight.
And the mayor's office loves this program so much, they said, why do we just need to sponsor 1 year? Let's sponsor 2 years. So they've already gone ahead and said we're sponsoring in 2027 as well. So we're really pleased for that. Thank you. And thanks to the mayor and all our sponsors. And now it's the moment you all have been waiting for. I'm going to have our youth program and volunteer coordinator, Brandon Hadfield, come up, and he's going to lead us from here out. Come on up, Brandon.
Thank you all for taking the time out of your evenings and your busy schedules to be here. I really appreciate it. I know our contestants really appreciate it. Now, without further ado, after a long 2 weeks of fun snow and ice of this event, we are ready to get started. First up, I'd like to bring up Rylie Humphress.
Greetings, everyone. That's moving. Thank you for being here. Friends, family, and my greatest enemy. I'm kidding. All right. I am Rylie. I will be reading one poem today. The context for it, it's from a poetry collection following this girl with a dairy allergy as she hears that the world is going to end by a giant block of cheese crashing into Earth. So she takes a road trip with her sister and finds an octopus in an abandoned water park who becomes their new mother. All right. Consumption. Part 1, the act of consuming. Janie and Mother Octopus want to spend the last day before the world ends, sitting outside, eating soft serve, and looking for the block of cheese. I roll my eyes because even though the end of the world is just some invented phenomenon, it's hard not to be a little afraid. It's hard not to question everything. It's hard not to want to be one with the soft serve, one with the cheese. It's hard not to want dairy. So I wait until they aren't looking at me and get a cup of soft serve myself. I have no dignity, so I take my hand and plunge it into the cardboard abyss and feel a drop of ice cream melt down my throat. It is the best thing I have ever consumed. Part 2, as by use, decay, or destruction. Until it feels like I've swallowed a cactus and there are 1,000 needles trying to escape from my ear canal. When I try to yell for help, my voice is rough and it sounds like I'm holding back tears. My throat, my chest are caving in on themselves and I am on fire. My skin burning and red all over. I begin to cry because everything is real. Thank you.
Thank you, Rylie, for that. I am now hungry again. I appreciate that. Next up, I'd like to bring up Madelyn Dinh.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm going to read 2 poems today. The first one's kind of like an ode to just dealing with a lot of crappy people growing up with my sister, and I kind of want to make it out to her because she can't be here today. It's called Dear Boy. Growing up with the twin sister, we always got confused for each other even though we're fraternal. My mom says it's because we're Asian, but not many people were hating. No, I got boys coming up to me on the playground saying, I know how to tell y'all apart. I said, how? Dear boy who called me the fatter twin. It's not my problem if your skinny ass can't tell what muscles are. Honey, you got bigger titties than I do. You ought to put them in a training bra. Dear boy, that made me insecure of my smile. How does it feel knowing you could walk on for miles without ever achieving a laugh as genuine as mine? He said, hey, horse teeth, be silent. I said, it's not my fault that these pearly whites could light up a room and yours are more yellow than my skin. He said, whoa, chill out. I'm just kidding. Dear boy who called me a dog eater, maybe think that's what I eat because not only did you leave your brain in the womb, you don't have any taste buds either. Tell me, were you born a racist too, or are you as much of a tool as the one in your pants? When will you grow into a man? One that learns how to respect chicks, that makes girls feel good on a level that far exceeds your microscopic dick. Dear boy, it gets harder and harder every day to come up with these quips to use against you because I feel vulnerable in this nakedness you see me in as you undress me with your eyes. And you say not all boys are like that, but words don't justify why my friends and I go wake up to go walking just to get catcalled at 6 in the goddamn morning. So when the internet asked, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a man or a bear? I will always choose bear because then at least my bare skin isn't a turn on. I used to love the kind of medieval fantasy you see at Renaissance fairs. The kind with the cool weapons and armor and tavern bars, but the only mace I carry around is the kind in a bottle. The only armor I have is the crossbody purse that separates my private parts from yours, and the only bars are the ones I spit here, knowing the only worth they hold is measured in how entertained you are. Dear boy, when will you learn I am not meant for your entertainment? Thank you. And the second poem I will be reading is called Iced Coffee, and it is about the current climate of the hate going around about immigrants. So just to preface that. Iced coffee. There's this memory I have. I'm sitting at Pho BC with my cousins. We fantasize about our trip to Vietnam we will take one day. I order Viet iced coffee. But instead of the clink, clink, clink of the ice in my glass, all I hear is the bang, bang, bang of the ice after another foreign. Somehow there's more worth in storming another hardworking human being to shoot another unarmed person for simply carrying themselves in a land that's forgotten how to be great. That's forgotten who exactly paid on the receipts of the racists that raised this country. When did ice stop being something meant to keep our drinks cold? The only drink that this ice is chilling is the slanderous junk that keeps our so-called leaders too drunk to separate color from threat, to separate accent from armed. Armed with what? A culture more kind than yours? One where the only papers in demand are the monetary kind? If we're so willing to melt the ice in the Arctic, why can't we be willing to melt the ice in our communities? I take another sip of my coffee, but it leaves a miasma on my tongue. It's poison and it makes me cry. But the only tears I see are the tear gas canisters being thrown on another defenseless child by men so unqualified to be actual cops, they feel the need to cosplay as soldiers. I feel cold. Another sip and I am too cold. We are frozen in the grip of a man trying to play king, but I thought there were no kings in America. I thought that's why we threw the tea into the harbor, but somehow we are repeating history. Why are we turning 2026 into the new 1776, into the new 1936? Because I know damn well there's surely a girl out there hiding in her attic writing about these things. Have we truly learned nothing? It is the middle of winter. The only ice that should be keeping us in our homes is the kind covering the streets, not the kind swarming the streets. The only conversations I should be having with my friends are, what should we do if school's out next week? Not what should I do if you get deported next week? Viet coffee is meant to be rich, powerful, full in body, but the only body there is another one twirling with exit wounds, a body tangoing with bullets, and they try to tell us the gunshots are the music, that these palpitations are from the caffeine, not from the fear I force myself to wring out of my body every morning like a cloth soaked with more spilled blood because I am told not to worry. Tell me, when will ice go back to being the stuff in my goddamn coffee? Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. Next, I would like to welcome Gauri Joshi.
Hi guys, can everyone hear me okay? Is that better? Yeah? Okay. This first poem is one that I wrote, or I'll be reading two poems today, but this first one that I wrote over the summer while I was sitting in the Arboretum. Just around here. And I was just sitting under some trees and I felt really inspired. And this one really feels like what was in my mind at that moment. This is Lessons from Honeybees and Fire Ants. Sweat drips down my face in our humid, love-driven language. You once told me that the sticks represented fallen people, but B, you never told me that living people can die too. Your sweet sap song rings in my ear because you once told me that true love is the end of a skinny maze. I felt blinded by the wisdom you gave me all those years ago. I'm sick and fractured, and you sang me lullabies of smoked hickory, your eyes dimming and sparking like fireflies. You once told me that where you're from, they call them lightning bugs, and that there is hope when you see them. And I remember thinking, in what world is a bug full of hope? But now they no longer seem to show up on summer nights. Instead, I'm left with cicadas, which I'm told are symbolic of poets, but I'm no poet, I'm just a dreamer. Still, Once you told me that the woods called your name and you left me with the fire in your mind and burn marks to show for it. I no longer dream. Thank you. The next one is one that I wrote this fall, and it's something I've been wanting to write for a while, but I never had the words to say, but I finally got it out and I'm kind of proud of it. I am a body built for starvation. Patient Health Questionnaire 9 modified for adolescents. 1. Feeling down, depressed, irritable, or hopeless? I was born from the fire my parents used to pray, so when I was mistaken for volatility, how could I not too mistake myself? How bright can you be before you are more blinding than beauty? When I look in the mirror, I see two things, myself and my body. I often fear I am more beast than I am girl with the way I hold fat in my Americanized skin. 2. Little interest or pleasure in doing things? There is too much power placed on school grounds where a girl aged 7 feels displaced not only from her peers but also from herself. A gap formed between who I was and who I was supposed to be. A gap between my lunch and theirs. A pause, before laughter and pointed fingers and tears that I could not hide. Now I question why the same things that made me wretched are now beautiful. Why my drinks and my hair oils and my jewelry is a trend. Why my culture is a joke. You stripped away every part of me that was digestible, and now you do not want to swallow the soul you have left bare. Now I am nothing. 3. Poor appetite, weight loss, or overeating? I have starved myself over and over again, wondering if I was born as a toy of misery. If my worth was somehow related to the sum of my misfortune. Lunch was no longer a problem because I didn't eat it. And I stare into the fire we used for every puja while I said I wasn't hungry. My lunch was really filling. How much I weighed didn't matter as much as what I looked like. Did I look like someone worthy of love? Did I look like enough? How many more skip meals would it take to be worth something, something more than my skin? 4. Feeling bad about yourself or feeling that you are a failure or that you have let yourself or your family down? My ancestors lived through famine time and time again. South Asian history books are covered on the blood left on brown soil after war. Drought and code and death is what shapes my lineage, and to understand the woman who came before me is to understand the parts of me that I hate. They carried fat in their thighs so that they could survive. I carry fat because I'm the product of a family tree that has roots in hunger. I'm a body built for starvation, and my fear of myself is a fear of my protection. 5. Thoughts that you would be better off dead or of hurting yourself in some way. I was born a dying star, and sometimes if I close my eyes, I can still see the fire of rebirth. It is bright and it is blinding. I used to have dreams of the pond behind my family's old apartment and of local news headlines where a teenage girl was found dead, drowning. I was never strong enough to die, and starvation was in my nature, so the solution was clear. I was bound only by the body that made me whole, but now that I can see the fire clearly, it is warm. It is bright, and it is healing. Thank you.
Thank you, Gauri. Next, I would like to bring up Ash Sauer.
Hi. So I have 3 poems to read today, and my first one is, I wrote this one recently. I'm a very social person, so this one is about each of my friends. Turn me on and I will sing a melody of unspoken wings, of fallen angels, mice and cowards, those hunted by a greater power. Those pages written stare with lust, a tiny piece of your paper palace, the lacy parts around your breasts, the burning sun that makes us sweat. Lyrics reaping all your days, another story captivates your craze. For late night writers and poetry, candles melt as you hurry. Turn me on and I can sing your melody of unspoken wings. So the second poem I've been working on since about August, and this one is about gun violence. A little girl was shot today, and no one knows what to say. But her name will be another trend, another hashtag full of pity. My country will never ban guns. I will not know a life without bullets. The children will bleed out of ripped holes. Speak up, and you must be crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. It's what they call my brain. They'll censor my poems, my voice, my breathing, as we beg on beat up and bruised knees. No cry loud enough to hear any reason. My dystopian books are coming to life. More brainwashed blondes turn a blind eye. Brain dead, more dead on the streets. Turn on the news and feel their grief. Is empathy better than fear? Why don't we look in our history books? I'm tired of silence and sealed lips, because soon it will be your little girl. So it's my final poem. I wrote this one last spring, and this is about all my favorite restaurants around Lexington. The waitress at Ramsey's brings my order, which will be either a barbecue chicken sandwich or the veggie plate with green beans, mashed potatoes, pickled beets, and corn on the cob, depending on my mood that day. She has a loose tie around her neck and a smile that looks oddly familiar to the woman sitting with her husband at Stella's a few weeks ago. Except that woman was complaining about her husband's red meat intake. Like my favorite waitress at Charlie Brown says to me when I order my burger medium rare instead of well done. But I'm too busy trying and failing to answer the Monday night trivia questions, not truly caring about how pink my burger is. Because at the end of the day, I'll come back. I'll come back to Lexington. I'll show them the Kentucky Native Cafe and tear up when I tell them about the tree that fell through the greenhouse and all the mud pie businesses I had made there. Yeah, I don't need kids to cry about Sunrise Cafe. Closing and leaving the best memories of each Sunday morning, having my plain bagel just to eat each individual salt off the top. But I know as new places open and close, as I go to restaurants far, far away, nothing will ever make me feel the same as rocking back and forth in one of Ramsey's silly little painted chairs. Because that's how Lexington feels, or rather tastes to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ash, for that. If one more of you get up here and do a poem about food, I'm going to have to go have a bigger meal. Our final contestant for the evening is Tony Robinson.
Hello, thank you all for being here. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I prepared a few poems to be read, and I hope that I'm very clearly audible. Can everyone hear me? Thank you. I'm going to start with this one poem. It's specifically inspired by a book I read talking about the effects of both world wars on the culture in the UK. The relevancy basically is that growing up, I grew up with my grandfather, and he had a lot of, I grew up on his stories a lot, which mostly focused on military endeavors and kind of how it affected him and how it affected his, the way that he talks about things is very evident. Particularly from this book, I took from the concept of counting the dead and the way that counting the dead during World War II was described. Thank you. Count. You've got metal on your tongue, found metal between your fingertips, topped off by a number and name. Maturing to the body count is 73,077. I believe in your ability to find the dead worth finding. Shift through bodies, shift through nameless faces, blasted, take their claim to a skeleton, bear your chest in medallions, memento. Identify the moment you lost your head. Identify the way you've layered a hole in the ground, disconnected from the largest part of life, your death. Thank you. Next, I'm going to read a poem that's from a kind of small collection I did based off of mainly the subjects of nature. Specifically this one, I wanted to connect things and animals and subjects in nature to bigger concepts and themes that were interesting to me. Specifically here, I wanted to work with maturity and cynicism. Bird. Fallen, the bird is stripped of its feathered, clipped, strung, tethered to the corkboard that splinters and spits brown mulch from its crude, rotted face. Solace is found in the gaping wisdom caught from the bird's beak. He says how his struggle is a testament to the might of blue feathers and Elmer's glue. Captivation only lasts as far as you can find the time. Jostle, the bird swings with the sway of children's laughter. Thankful, bloodied, he is blessed in finding purpose. Pain is a reason to escape or find yourself on a pinboard. Pose is the wisdom of a blue jay. Thank you. Yes. My last poem, this one is a little bit more personal for me, but it works with a lot of themes and kind of illusions that I've worked with before. My whole real goal with this was that I wanted to take illusions that I've already used in my work and images I've already used and basically connect it to more personal themes. This specifically talks mostly about my experience with my family and my brother. Thank you. My brother is a traveler. He's been gone for many moons, skipped town before the sun set over the horizon. No one said goodbye, but there are legends that he left loudly, just unseen, unnoticed. In Milan, there resides catacombs and cathedrals lined with bones. I'm convinced he's seen them, become as fascinated as I with the concepts of a church turned to dead, leading him to lay his head to rest at the footsteps of priests calling it home. My brother's mute. He never spoke a word, but always caused a ruckus. I made a nice cleanup crew, though it'd be unrealistic to say his departure did not mark some end to my carefulness. Prodigal brother, not to return home till my hands mark the day on the calendar in ink. The sun rises and sets, and I pray it shines brighter on your head. Thinking back on his heartbeat, but I realized I had only memorized how he sounded when he was asleep. Distant, far away, his soul ran slow to me, my auditory and tactile sense discouraged quite suddenly by the irreparable factor, like a broken car, sour lemon, he was rendered driving on a broken motor I had no fix to. Suddenly and spontaneously, having combusted on the side of the highway, he made back to me. The Gnostics argue that Judas did not betray from hate, rather a love unknown to others, a kiss on the cheek, a devotion to God, to promise of devotion, to carry out a plan knowing your demise. But considering Abraham still brought his son to the hill instead of the lamb, it is found true that love, on occasion, may only truly fashion itself as its devotion to distance, is something inexplicable and omnipresent. Thank you.
Now I can walk up. Okay. Thank you, my finalist contestants, for those lovely poems that you all came up and spoke. Judges, you are now more than welcome to go and tally in the room. While the judges are off tallying, I do have a special guest that is here. I would like to now welcome up Eva Alcaraz Monhe. I tried, I'm sorry. Born and raised in Miami, Florida, Eva is a poet and journalist that has grown to love Lexington. Currently a freshman at Western Kentucky University, Eva studies creative writing and journalism, as well as writes for the WKU, College Heights Herald, and Taylism magazine. Outside of being the 2025 Lexington Youth Poet Laureate, Eva is a Governor's School for the Arts Creative Writing alum and Scholastics Art and Writing Awards National Gold Medalist. When not writing, Eva likes to sit in nature and listen to goth music. Please welcome Eva Alcaraz Monhe, your 2025 Youth Poet Laureate.
All right. Can everybody hear me? All right. So I have a little speech prepared. I'm not going to read any poetry, so sorry about that. Hello. Thank you for having me here today. I am very grateful and excited to be here. As my time comes to an end as Poet Laureate, I would like to say a few words about my experience. First off, I'd like to thank everybody at the Carnegie Center who has supported me, heard my ideas, and sent me countless emails. I'd like to thank all my friends, loved ones, and fellow poets for showing up for me, lending an ear to my words, and in turn giving me the opportunity to listen. I'd like to thank my professors, teachers, and mentors who have inspired me and taught me valuable lessons about writing and life. I'd like to thank my family who have believed in me and encouraged me to follow this path. When I first became Youth Poet Laureate, I was terrified. I was unsure if I deserved this position. But more than that, I was worried that I would waste it. I knew I wanted to do something with the opportunity I was given to make an impact to a city I have grown to love. As I get ready to pass that position off, I'm happy with what I have done. Yes, I've spoken at many events, open mics, met writers and poets who have inspired me, but to me, those aren't markers of my success. I am most proud of being able to represent all of the communities I'm a part of through the art that makes me who I am. In a time where I, like countless others, am scared of what is happening to this country that has birthed me, to the people who look and talk like me, this position has given me a space to say what I need to say and what I hope others want to hear. I remember each person who has told me they liked what I said or wrote, and even more to those who said they see themselves in it. This is who I do it for. In my time as Youth Poet Laureate, I have read my work in Spanish, I have helped start Lexington's first Latino open mic, and most important to me, I have been able to immortalize my father's words in stone in the language he said them to me. I am happy that I have left behind something good, something hopeful. To all the young poets here, congratulations on the significant recognition. All of your words were absolutely amazing. You all are amazing poets, and you guys definitely deserve to be here. Let this serve as a signifier that you are talented and that your art matters. Even to those not leaving with a title, I encourage you to use the art form you have shown dedication to do something that matters to you. The world needs young, brilliant poets like you more than ever. To the next Youth Poet Laureate, know that you will blow us away. It's okay to be scared. If you ever need anything, I'm a phone call away. The greatest advice I can give you is one another poet gave to me. Remember to be humble, to acknowledge the work of others, to listen and learn, but do not be modest. Know that you deserve this and that you were chosen for a reason. Thank you for allowing me to represent the city, to represent young poets, to represent my voice. It has been an honor. I'll leave you with my proudest work. Esta memoria es una oportunidad de oro. This memory is an opportunity of gold. No te olvides que tienes alas. Don't forget you have wings. Thank you.
All right, everyone, the judges have got with me and we have a final decision. I am writing this down so I do not forget. Cool. But first, I would like to once again thank everyone for taking the time. I know it's not super convenient to come here on what is today, Wednesday night, with all of the lovely weather, the ice, but it's warming up. So again, thank you all. And I would like to go ahead and again thank our finalists. If you all will just stand when I say your name so that we can give you one final recognition. Rylie Humphress, Madelyn Dinh, Gauri Joshi, Sauer and Tony Robinson. I think all of you did a fantastic and wonderful job. Thank you all for coming and participating. I loved all of your works. I will be going to eat after, thanks to a couple of you. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for. Your 2026 Lexington Youth Poet Laureate is, dramatic expense, Tony Robinson. Thank you, everyone, for coming out to this event. Sorry for the long delay. Don't be mad at me. Thank you for my finalists and the contestants for coming in. I think all of you did absolutely wonderful and amazing. Everyone, please. And I'd also like to thank the judges for coming out, giving your time. It's very much appreciated for me as well. Thank you. And thank you, Eva, for coming and speaking. We appreciated it. Anyone else? Is that everyone? Yes. So finalists, if you will, we'll move this out of the way. If y'all want to come up and get some photos with everyone, we will do that before everyone leaves. But since it'll be my last time speaking, because I know you love hearing me speak so much, please stay safe getting home, stay warm, and thank you all again. Really appreciate it.